Welcome to my books and story time by mybooksummary.com. Let's explore. Imagine finding a stack of personal letters from a 2,000-year-old Roman philosopher, full of advice not about how to conquer empires, but how to conquer yourself. That's Letters from a Stoic by Lucius Annaeus Seneca. Not a book in the conventional sense, but a living journal of ideas, written to his friend Lucilius, a man he advises as one might counsel a brother, or a future version of himself. These are letters about life, death, wealth, anger, time, friends, fear, grief, failure, and freedom. There are no emperors to impress here, no mobs to sway. Just a man, rich, powerful, aware of death breathing down his neck, trying to find peace in a chaotic world. Seneca's words still feel startlingly fresh. Maybe because the human condition hasn't changed. We still chase things we don't need. We still fear things that might never happen. We still waste time, betray ourselves, and wonder what it all means. So let's journey through this collection of wisdom, not as ancient relics, but as life letters sent directly to us. On the shortness of life, time is your only wealth. Seneca doesn't ease into things. He grabs you by the soul from the start and says, people are frugal with their money but extravagant with their time. Why? And suddenly you're awake. Because you know he's right. In several letters, he circles back to the idea that life isn't short, but we make it so by wasting it. Seneca isn't wagging a Roman finger at you. He's reminding you that death is always nearby. And no, this isn't morbid. It's liberating. He teaches that every moment matters. Time, not gold, is our most precious asset. If you let your days be stolen by mindless ambition, shallow entertainment, or toxic people, you're broke, no matter your bank account. And the cure? Be present. Own your minutes. Study philosophy, not for trivia points, but because it's the operating system for your soul. It's how you learn to live. On philosophy, your shield against chaos. If you imagine philosophy as a boring professor in a dusty robe, Seneca would like to offer a new image. Philosophy as armor. To him, philosophy is an abstract theory. It's a way of life, a survival kit for the soul. It trains your mind to stand strong when the world spins out of control. It's how you develop inner peace when outer peace is a joke. Philosophy, Seneca writes, is what makes a man rich in poverty, free in slavery, happy in exile, and powerful on his deathbed. It teaches you not to be thrown around by circumstances, but to become anchored in virtue. It's not a shield that blocks pain. It's a mirror that shows you how to endure it. On anger, the fire that destroys you first. One of Seneca's most gripping letters is about anger. He calls it a temporary form of madness, and he doesn't mean that poetically. Anger, he argues, is the most destructive emotion. It makes us act against reason. It hurts us more than it hurts our enemies. He paints a picture of anger as a fire that consumes both fuel and furnace. And you don't fight it with more fire. You quench it with understanding. To escape anger, Seneca recommends practicing patience, lowering expectations, and, most interestingly, remembering your own flaws. Why rage at someone else's slowness or rudeness when you've done worse? And if you ever do get angry, delay your response. Count, walk, cool down. The greatest act of strength is restraint. On wealth, riches that don't enslave. Seneca was rich, really rich. Yet he wrote about money like a man who saw through its illusions. To him, wealth was neither good nor bad. It was like clay, you could mold it into something useful or worship it as an idol. The danger wasn't in having money, but in being owned by it. He warned that chasing luxury dulls the soul. You forget how to enjoy simple things. You become addicted to excess. And worst of all, you lose your self-sufficiency. A Stoic, he says, should be content with little, but should also be able to handle much. Poverty isn't the absence of wealth. It's the fear of needing it. His advice: use money. Don't let it use you. Give generously. Live simply. And always be ready to walk away. On death, the final teacher. Seneca returns to the theme of death again and again, not because he's obsessed with it, but because he sees it as the ultimate motivator. To him, a wise person contemplates death daily, not to be depressed, but to live better. Most people, he says, act like they're going to live forever. They postpone dreams, delay apologies, and collect regrets like souvenirs. But when you accept that you could die tomorrow, suddenly life sharpens into focus. You appreciate your days. You stop sweating nonsense. You love harder, speak kinder, and take risks. Seneca teaches that death isn't the enemy. The real enemy is never truly living. On friendship, the soul's mirror. Seneca writes about friendship with reverence. To him, a true friend isn't just someone you have fun with. They're someone who reflects your best self back to you. They sharpen you, challenge you, accept you, flaws and all. He cautions against shallow friendships based on usefulness or convenience. A friend isn't a tool. They're a treasure. There's one beautiful idea he shares. Live in such a way that you can open your heart to your friend without fear. That means living honestly, openly, and with integrity. True friendship, Seneca believes, is rare. But when it happens, it's one of life's greatest consolations. On control, focus on what you can influence. A central pillar of Stoicism, championed again and again in these letters, is the idea of control. Seneca draws a clear line. There are things you control, your thoughts, actions, responses, and things you don't, fate, whether other people's opinions. Misery comes from confusing the two. You can't control how people treat you, but you can control whether you let their words poison your peace. You can't control illness or disaster, but you can control how you face them. He urges us to be like a good sailor. We can't control the wind, but we can adjust our sails. Freedom, he says, isn't found in changing the world. It's found in mastering yourself. On wisdom, the pursuit that never ends. Seneca doesn't claim to be a sage. In fact, he's humble about his flaws. He sees himself as a patient still in recovery. That's what makes his voice so human. He's not preaching. He's inviting you to walk with him. Wisdom to him isn't an arrival, it's a lifelong climb. Every day is an opportunity to learn, grow, reflect, and correct course. He advises reading widely, thinking deeply, and writing down lessons. Philosophy should be chewed, not swallowed. You must wrestle with it until it becomes muscle. And when you stumble, because you will, Seneca says to forgive yourself. Just don't stop striving. On slowing down, the enemy of busyness. Seneca had little patience for people who were busy but not effective. He saw this all the time in Rome. Men rushing from meeting to meeting, bragging about their workload, yet hollow inside. Busyness, he warns, is often just distraction. People run from their thoughts by overfilling their calendars. But deep work on yourself, your relationships, your soul requires stillness. He praises simplicity, silence, solitude, a quiet walk, a long thought, a single book. In those moments, you're not wasting time. You're reclaiming it. On living for others, virtue in action. Stoicism often gets misunderstood as being cold or emotionally detached. But Seneca's letters reveal the opposite. He constantly encourages service. Help others. Uplift them. Share wisdom. Offer kindness. Virtue isn't just inner peace. It's outward action. It's how you treat your family, your enemies, your city. He reminds us that we're all connected. A wise person doesn't isolate, they integrate. They bring light into the world, not just into their hearts. On consistency, be the same in public and private. This might be one of his hardest lessons. Don't perform your virtue, live it. Seneca despised hypocrisy. He believed a true Stoic should be the same behind closed doors as they are on stage. If you preach simplicity, live simply. If you value honesty, speak the truth, even when it costs you. This consistency isn't about perfection. It's about integrity. You don't need applause. You need alignment. On legacy, what will you leave behind? In his final letters, Seneca reflects on old age, legacy, and what it means to leave something behind. Not wealth, not monuments, but wisdom. He encourages Lucilius and us to think about how we'll be remembered, not in fame but in character. Did we live bravely? Did we love well? Did we grow wiser? These are the questions that matter. Final thoughts. Why these letters still matter? Letters from a Stoic is more than a philosophical document. It's a mirror, a challenge, a lifeline. It reminds us that though technology has changed, the human heart hasn't. We still fear, love, lose, dream, hurt, and heal just like Lucilius did in 65 AD. And Seneca, across time, reaches out with a steady hand and says, "You're not alone." His advice is simple but not easy. Live with intention. Guard your time. Master your emotions. Serve others. Accept death. Choose wisdom. And when you fall short, begin again. So the next time you feel overwhelmed, anxious, restless, or lost, imagine a Roman man in a toga whispering across time. This too is part of the path. Now rise.